Good morning, YouTube. Winter is just about here. I don't know how I can see in the camera, but all that hot air is coming out into the cold abyss that we have of New England here. My window is frosted over. Today I have to bring this car in for its 60,000 mile service, which I am not very excited for at all because it's going to be very expensive. I'm getting a lot of things done, and yeah, it's cold. I love winter. I am a winter person, but I'm not a winter at 7 in the morning kind of a person. You know what I mean? Get the seat warmer on max, get everything turned up. All right, so what am I getting done to the car for 60,000 miles? So I've had the car for like 3,000 miles now. I bought it at around like 57,000-ish, like 56 and change, something along those lines. So 60,000, there's kind of a lot of things that I generally want to do if you own an M2. First, I'm getting all my fluids done. So I'm doing pretty much every fluid in the car that I can think of. So I'm doing the brake fluid, the coolant, oil change, that's a given, that's obvious. I am doing the transmission fluid. Oh man, it is cold. It has to start warming up real quick in here. The differential fluid in this car, and I feel like there's something else that I'm missing as far as fluids go. Well, at any rate, all the fluids in this car we're going to be doing. Besides that, we are going to be doing the spark plugs. This is 60,000. You want to do the spark plugs on this car. So in general, most BMWs I believe are 60,000 for spark plugs. The M2 is 30,000, and 30,000 use spark plugs. Realistically, you could probably push them out to like 45,000. Based on the Carfax, I don't think the spark plugs were ever done on this car. I could be wrong, and they could have just not had that service listed, but I don't think it was ever actually done. So we're going to be getting that done. And as far as actual service items, that's really it. I am getting my battery problem checked finally, actually professionally. The IBS sensor that I replaced that didn't fix my problem, we'll see. And I'm getting just my brakes checked for my one warped rotor, whichever one that is. And yeah, so it's actually 8 in the morning, it's not even 7 in the morning. Either way, not a morning person. But we're gonna get this done, and I'll let you guys know kind of how much it is, what the damage is, and I will see you guys there. All right, we are here. Man, check out this car. We're gonna take a look at this car real quick. This E86 M3 in the yellow. Check that out. Oh man, take a look at this. That color's just nuts. Man, whoever has this car, real sick spec. All right, how's it going? So we just picked up the car from the shop actually a couple days ago. So the services that I had done on the car were basically for 60,000 mile service. So I'm gonna go over what was in that service, what I chose to do, what I didn't do, things that you should do or should consider doing. Let us begin. So the first thing is the oil service. So I did a just normal oil change. So that came to $146. And I'm not gonna go over the change. Like say this was $146.45. I'm not gonna go over the change, just gonna round it to keep it nice and easy. So $146 for the oil change. Spark plugs. So the spark plugs I had replaced at 60,000. I don't know if they were ever done on this car. So all that was $535. Next, what I did was the transmission fluid flush. So basically just changing the transmission fluid. So this is the manual one. So the transmission flush came to $204. Now that, I love seeing that. That is a fantastic price to me because when you do the DCT, typically you do the whole like pan and filter with it. So it's just a lot more expensive for the fluid. It's a lot more expensive to do the pan, whereas a manual is just boom, boom, done. I like seeing that, $204. Differential flush, $121. I don't think that was ever done on this car either. I'm a big fan of doing the differentials on my cars. Coolant flush, $231. Brake fluid service, $189 there, and that's pretty much it for the main services. Now I did have a few other things on here. So the first one was just to check my wheels. So my car shakes quite a bit, so I suspected warped rotors, and surprise surprise, I had them check, and I do have warped rotors on the front. I didn't do that this service. I'm not going to do that until springtime. It's not a terrible shaking, so it's okay for now. I can live with it. Then the other one, this is the fun one. So the nonsense with my battery discharge drain message continues. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'll have a little link somewhere here to a video talking about that issue, but it's still an ongoing problem. Basically, my car is having an issue with the battery telling me that it's discharging and that the battery is dead. You test the battery is perfectly fine, and they did the same thing. They tested the battery is perfectly fine, perfectly healthy, no issues with the battery when they tested it. But the car keeps thinking that the battery is dead, so it keeps giving me the error message of, hey, your battery's discharging, your battery's dead, start the car, etc., etc. They took a look at that, they diagnosed that, and they ended up recommending I do the IBS cable. And I already did the IBS cable, so I skipped that. And then the next thing from there was a software update from BMW. So they performed the software update, and at the time it seemed like it was fixed. They said, okay, car looks good, but just, keep an eye on it, see if the message comes back. We're not seeing the issue anymore, but just keep an eye on it. I kept an eye on it, and lo and behold, I still am getting the message. So even with a software update from BMW, that is still not fixed. So I really don't know where to go from here. Probably going to just replace the battery again. So the battery on this car was replaced at about $57,000, which was a little bit before I bought the car. And that was the only time the battery was replaced. Now it's a 2016 car, so it was about that time. It could just be a janky battery, and maybe replacing it will just solve all the issues. But yeah, so we're gonna bring the car back and take a look at that again. But that cost $325 to get that diagnosed, and then the warped rotors, that cost $81 to get diagnosed. So all in all, to get all these services done for 60,000 miles. Now bear in mind, this total does include the diagnostic stuff, so I'll remove that from a little total. I'll put on the screen what it costs without that. But so all in all, it cost me $1,835.41, and that's with tax and all that fun stuff. I'm gonna subtract from that the diagnostic stuff, like the battery discharge and the just checking out the rotors, so you can get an idea of what the actual service itself cost. So more or less, it's about $1,500 for a 60,000 mile service to get all your fluids refreshed, to get your spark plugs done. That's not too bad. That is pretty much what it's going to cost you if you do these same things. A few other things you might want to consider is the water pump. 100% consider doing the water pump and tensioner. The water pump tends to fail around 60,000 miles in a lot of M2s, kind of around that range. It may never fail. It could fail earlier, but a lot of cases kind of point to 60,000. I chose not to change it in this car just because I'm like, it's probably fine, it's not going to break. And I plan to do it around 90, kind of 80 to 90,000 miles. Basically, next time I go in for like a spark plug service or kind of a larger service, I'm just going to do it then. So overall, that's the main sauce of the main meat and potatoes of the video here. So I really appreciate you stopping by and checking out this video. Do consider subscribing and leaving a like on this video. Leave a comment talking about your service or whatever you want to leave a comment on. So otherwise, I thank you so much for clicking on this video and watching.